Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is City of Heroes. We are with Liberty Lass, who's level 46, has about 1,000,000 XP to go to get to level 47. We are doing level +2, I think, and we are working on Tina. It might be level +3 because she's below us yet. Working on Tina McIntyre. So she can only give us max 45, so this will give us +2 missions. And we're on the antimatter thing. Oh, defeat. Wait a minute. Antimatter and his clockworks, and we might want to drop this to +2. So let us set the notoriety to +2 instead. Hopefully that will work because we have not tried to touch the mission door or anything. That will give it, it'll actually be +1 to us because antimatter is going to be really hard to beat. And before we fight him, actually, we should probably get some inspirations. So let us head over, talk to this guy. Unai, go to the store and pick up some Lux. We don't need Sturdy. We don't need that. I want a couple extra Lux. And then 3 heals. Actually, maybe we'll do 4 heals here and it replace, because we don't usually have endurance problems unless we're fighting Carnies. And we're not going to be fighting Carnies here. We're going to be fighting Clockworks. So this way we can do a pair of luck. Each one does 12.5, so that gives us 25% defense. That should be sufficient with all of our other defenses. I do want to mention in one of my videos, I can't remember which one. It might be the one I just posted in early June. I don't know if people were screaming at the screen. I had these toggles off, and when I went to engage this one, I then clicked an inspiration or hasten or whatever before the animation got going, and it switched to this, and this one never turned on. Right? Heightened senses, which gives a bunch of defense, including to negative energy and stuff like that, and then I was getting pounded. So that's one of the reasons I face planted one of the previous episodes, because I was impatient and I did not click this and then wait. I'll say one thing for the willpower set in particular is several of the powers have very long animation times when you kick them in, like extremely long. And coupled with energy melee, which also has some very long animation times. I'm not talking about energy transfer because that's dependent on whether we've been total focused. But a lot of the other power, like total focus has a very long, this one has a pretty long animation time. And when you couple that with this, and Hasten seems to have a fairly long animation time too. There have been several times when I have been caught in animations trying to click on inspirations and you're just locked in the animation. And I feel like the animations for both engaging the toggles here, but especially this one also, Strength of Will, seems to have a very long animation time. Sometimes what happens is I hit this, expecting it to trigger, but this is still animating, and then I go and start hitting inspirations, and hasten never triggers, right? And then so that I'm not running hasten and I don't notice it. I've seen that a couple times on the videos. Like, I don't notice it while I'm playing. I notice it afterwards when I rewatch the video. Same thing with re-engaging that. Now, normally you're not re-engaging the toggles, but oh, you know, the other thing, if we're fighting an archvillain, maybe I should have done. Let's drop one of these. What I should have done is, we'll see if we get one. I should have picked up a break free, because a couple times what's happened is Strength of Will only lasts for 2 minutes. And a couple times what happened is, if I'm fighting an archvillain or an elite boss that has enough of its hit point, enough hit points and resistance that it takes more than 2 minutes to take it out, this thing runs out, and then my endurance drops and my toggles drop, and then I get mezzed, and then I can't get the toggles back up, and then you just get face planted. That happened against the Madam of Mystery, right? And the way to combat that is to hit a break free, and then you can at least throw your toggles back on and you might not die. Right, so we'll just keep using whatever's in this slot and hope to get a break free eventually. And if we don't, we'll probably be fine, but just in case. Now we do have Crushing Impact, which improves our defenses and stuff just a little tiny bit, but it's not anything remarkable. The way sets work, if you got, 7 attack powers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we have sets on all 7, and they each give you like a couple percent resistance, that adds up, right? 14, 15% then. But on a single one, it's not really enough to stack in a meaningful way. I do want to point out, I think in the episode 1 or 2 before this, I did an episode where I face planted, and then the next episode I thought was one that I thought I had, in the one I face planted, that I had not decided to post it, but it was actually the one before that I decided not to post. And is he aggroed to me? No. We'll just sweep through and make sure that in case there's knockback or something, or he runs around, we don't aggro these guys while we're fighting him. But yeah, I actually posted all 3 of my attempts to defeat the Madam of Mystery, and I was only able to beat her when she was either, well, she was -1 to me, but I would have been able to beat her, I think, at +0. And it's definitely clear, I could see this watching the video, that I was doing way more damage with the temporary psychic power than I was doing with my punches. But yes, the floaty text is going above people's heads, but it's really hard to follow that while you're doing everything, and then I was, talking too. Alright, so we don't have the break free. Hopefully we won't need it. Antimatter is 47, so he's +1. We should be able to beat him. Do a little extra damage. There's that really long animation time, finally done. And then hasten. And now we're going to just come in and pound. But yeah, watching the videos, I could see, the floaty text, right, going up over my character's head, and he's still hitting me. Are we? No, we're not inside an AOE. Wow. Okay, so we need the heals, and we're going to have to just crank this all the way up, because he's hitting me even with my defenses and with strength of will. So got him. How did we defeat him so fast? Or did he teleport it away? I guess we didn't actually beat him. He disappeared and left us with a warning. So we know we're going to have to carry a lot of luck against this guy, because he was smacking me until I had more than 2 lucks down. Alright, we're going to have to fly out and get some more inspirations. Well, let's see. Do we have to fight him next, or what? Let's talk to Tina. Part 7. Go and deactivate any of those devices. Let's see, this is just devices. So we could probably, well, I think there may be elite bosses at the end of all of these missions. So let's just keep it the way it is, +2. And I'll grab some inspirations from her as we pass by. By the way, I'm really glad that the contacts all sell inspirations now. It used to be, well, originally you couldn't buy them anywhere. And then it was that you could only buy them in the arena. And you had to go to there was an arena, I think, in almost every zone, and you had to go to the arena, the PvP arena, to buy them. And then eventually they started putting them in other places. Right, and what Homecoming has done, and I guess Leandro did it, is they made it so that every store sells or buys everything. Let's grab a break free just in case. Let's see. We want 3 more heals. And then I think I'm going to grab even another luck. We'll try to run 3 or 4 and 3 or 3 and 4. See how it goes. I mean, you shouldn't need to run more than 4. Right? 4 is 50% defense. And what is radiation? Is it energy? And my energy defense is already 15, so that gets me to 65. I mean, nobody should be able to hit me through that. Even a +1. Right, I should have them nearly floored with 65% defense total. But it only lasts a couple minutes. Is strength of will still up? No. Okay. All right. We need to find 5 devices and defeat the leader Clockwork. Oh, we should be able to do that. Find the devices, I don't know, but we should be able to defeat the leader Clockwork. At least these are devices and not hostages. So we talked about the mobs we don't like to fight. Who are your favorites to fight? I've said this before, I love fighting Rikti. I really enjoy fighting them. Um, I actually don't mind Sky Raiders. Sky Raiders are pretty cool. But Rikti are they're probably my favorite faction just because I like fighting equivalent of space aliens. And they're pretty cool. And they have some interesting guys like the communications officers and stuff. The drones can be annoying, but as a faction, I like fighting Rikti. I think they're kind of fun. Carnies are okay. The death screams are kind of annoying. I think it would be maybe a little less frustrating if Carnies didn't all have the death scream, right? If only certain ones did, then maybe it would be a little less annoying to fight them. I kind of I like them all as a faction, but I don't really like I don't really like dealing with all of the summoned little bots. Trying to think, what other factions do I really like? Oh, the Banished Pantheon. Yeah, they're my favorite. Yeah. You guys know I love BP. Love me some BP. They're like Vajalok, but not annoying, right? Because they don't have the vomit, which is super annoying. I don't really mind. I mean, the little guys that do Hurricane, the lieutenants that do Hurricane can be a little annoying, but it's fine. They usually turn it off, and they're all right. I do wish for all of the mobs that summon things like that, I wish that you could be tactical with them, right? Unfortunately, the way the game works is if you aggro something, it gets an immediate response to you, even if you take it out. And so you can walk in, and you've probably seen this on my Scrapper video. I can go in and assassin strike the mobs that summon things, and they'll still summon it. It's ridiculous. And that to me, I don't like it because A, it's unrealistic, but B, also, if you're being tactically intelligent, figuring out who the bad guy is, who the most problematic enemy is, and taking them out to start with, it should be successful, right? I feel the same way with the Devouring Earth and the Cairns, right? If I'm smart enough to know that guy is a problem, and I need to take him out first, or I need to pull him out of the radius, it should work, right? It should be that if you're tactically smart and you're paying attention to what the mobs do, and you're not just going in there mindlessly swinging, there should be a payoff for that. And I don't like that there kind of isn't in this game. So I do like the BP, but I wish that their corpse summoners, the death shamans, and the hurricane guys and stuff that you would be able to kind of surprise them and take them out before they do the annoying thing, and then it wouldn't be so bad. All right, so we got to find the boss. Usually the bosses are around here. Sometimes they're in here. Is this him? Yeah. He's just a boss? Okay, no problem. Oh, interesting. Look at what he just said. He's doing like a little function call. That's cool. Alright. We should be okay just with our self buffs. We probably don't need any of these inspirations, so we'll just do without them. Let's take this guy out. And then take the boss out. I might be able to stun him. Did I get him? No. Tell you this set misses a self-heal. Or like a dull pain or something. And I feel like dull pain, conceptually, right, thematically, would really be quite literally a willpower thing, right? You're ignoring the pain. That's willpower. You're using your willpower not to feel the pain that you're actually feeling. I feel like more than invulnerability or don't they also have it in regeneration? Dulling pain should be a willpower thing. It's sort of weird that they don't have that in here, but I guess they thought it would be OP. I don't know. I feel like they spread the defenses so much out across these toggles that this, if I were designing this set, and again, I don't know how they have it balanced with the other stuff, but I would triple toggle with this, and I would merge a couple of these toggles, self-regen, foe minus to hit. I might throw that in with one of the others, and yeah, this is the resistance to stuff. I don't know. I would probably throw that in with one of the others, and replace it with dull pain. Because I think that, first of all, I think this set, it seems clearly to need a heal to me. And because it's a resistance set, and I feel like resistance sets need heals more than defense sets, because you're always going to be being worn down on damage, because they're going to hit you all the time. Look, we only have 6% smashing and lethal defense in this set, right? So that we're always going to be hit, and they're slowly wearing our hit points down. So I feel like you kind of need a heal. But I also think that conceptually, dulling pain sounds exactly like what you do with willpower. I'm going to pretend I'm not hurt. I'm going to use my willpower and say I'm not feeling this pain. Right? That's willpower. I always remember there was, my best friend used to watch Bruce Lee. I think it was a Bruce Lee movie, one of the martial arts movies, the older ones. And I like them too, but I hadn't started watching them yet at the time. And I remember there was some scene where I think it was Bruce Lee got like stabbed in the stomach with a spear, right? And he's clearly gonna die, I guess, but he like takes his headband off and he like wraps it around his gut to like hold his guts in, and then he's like, "Whoa!" and he just starts fighting. That's willpower, right? He dulled pain using just the sheer willpower of his desire to defeat these bad guys. And gosh, I can't believe there were two of these glowies and I haven't seen one yet of the two. That's insane. Where the heck are they? They like to put stuff in these little nooks in here. And this isn't like hostages, so I can't just like tab target the bad guys to find the glowy. I have no idea where these two things are. Honestly, I feel like, I'll get back to what I was saying in a minute, but honestly, I feel like whatever developer created these missions must hate players. Like, honestly, must have, like, just really not liked us. Because I can't imagine it would be fun for anyone to go through this whole thing looking for two glowies. I don't know. If you guys do have fun doing these, let me know. Tell me I'm wrong. It's almost better if this is a defeat all rather than a find the glowies. Because at least there you can keep tab targeting until they're all gone. Although I have, at one point... Oh, there was 2 of them right here. At one point, I remember fighting a defeat all, and I got everybody I could find in one of these outdoor missions, and the mission never completed, and I flew all over the place. Tab, 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 tab. I could not find the last guys. And that's why I feel like defeat alls should not exist in these outdoor missions, because it's just too easy to like miss one guy in a corner, and you know, if they show you the red triangles, you're okay, but not every mission does that. Anyway, I feel like Dull Pain Dull Pain is like really the best fit. Not regeneration, not invulnerability, but willpower. And yet it's the one power set of those that doesn't have it. Okay, so we're just seeking clues in here. I think one of these missions might be one where we have to fight 2 elite bosses at once. Yeah, I may not be able to do that one unless I drop it to +0. And maybe not even then. Now, +0 would be -1. So maybe +1. We could do it. But right now we're at +2, right? To the mission, which is +1 to me. Yeah, these are definitely scaled harder than the regular missions. Not the minions, but the bosses. Although, I don't know, Madam of Mystery was pretty tough too. She's really rough. I know I struggled with her on multiple tunes. I want to go back and rewatch what Quintessence last did. Speaking of that, somebody explained in the comments why I kept whiffing and was floored by the Harlequin fencers. So what they're doing is they're using what is it? Not longsword, but like the equivalent of ninja blade. What katana, right? And that thing, when you, I guess there's one of the attacks. I don't know, it's jab or something. One of the repost. I don't know. One of the attacks, parry, is it hits you, but it also increases the person's defense that just cast the power. Apparently by quite a lot. According to the post, it was 16%. I find that hard to believe that player characters would get that. I suspect that they get like 5%. But you can check that on the wikis and stuff. But apparently it can stack up to 3 times, which is why I doubt that they give PCs 16%, because it would just stack to the point where you just could floor an archvillain. So it's probably more like 6%. And then you could maybe enhance it to 10. But anyway, if you stack it 3 times, it's -48 to hit. And then they're 3 levels above me, so it's minus another 30, which is -78 to hit. So that's why they were taking my 95 and dropping it down to almost nothing, right, to 12 or whatever, and that's why. And then if they have some defense power in addition, they would it would have me completely floored, right? So so yeah. Man, long animation time. But that strength of will does help a lot. I still think that these guys should have dull pain, but yeah, obviously that's not going to happen. Okay. So now we just got to click the glowy. I feel like this was a 10-part or a 12-part arc. I think we're on part, what, 7 now? Was this 7? I think we started on 6, didn't we? Maybe it's 8? Yeah, that was part 8. Go out and stop whoever is trying to invade our dimension this time. We have all the inspirations we need, so we'll just go ahead and head on out. So anyway, yeah, so here's the thing. I thought I was being debuffed, right? That they were hitting me, and it was a 2-hit debuff, but nothing was showing in this little list of buffs and debuffs. So I couldn't figure out if there's nothing showing here. Well, the reason there's nothing showing is they weren't debuffing me; they were self-buffing, right? So you could see little, just like you can see little circles going around me. This is the from the strength of will, the endurance recovery, which is going to go down once this wears off, and that's, I don't know how much time it has left, another half a minute or something. So they had little triangles around them, and I saw the little triangles. I registered the little triangles, but it just didn't occur to me. I just kept assuming they were debuffing me and not self-buffing, right? And so it just didn't occur to me that that's what they were doing. But in any case, so just to explain what was happening and why the Harlequin Fencers were flooring me, they were flooring me because every time they hit me, a side effect of that power when you hit somebody with it is that it increases your defense. Now, I don't believe that it works even if you don't hit. I think you have to hit with it, which is why somebody was saying, "Oh, these guys are so annoying." I said, "Well, they're annoying to resistance people like me, because with resistance and only 6% smashing defense, you are going to get hit all the time, and they can keep stacking that parry." But for somebody like Quintessence Lass, who was debuffing their 2-hit and had defense set, yeah, they weren't going to hit her at all, right? They would hit her once every 3 or 4 swings, so they couldn't triple stack their parry. Oh, Marauder, he is tough, if I remember right. And he's usually at the end of the zone here. Just want to make sure that this isn't him here. No, it's just this guy's talking. My recollection is... Ooh. Okay, we're going to fight that guy, but we'll come back. My recollection is that Marauder is at the very end over here somewhere. There he is. Okay. Alright, so we will come back, but I want to fight that war robot over here, the boss. Because he's cool looking. There we go. Okay, so... let's start over here. Oh, I'm wondering why I didn't take this guy out in a couple of hits. It's because I forgot to hit build up. One shot at him, and now we're going to taunt this guy. And bring him over because I don't want them getting involved in the boss fight. Come here. So yeah, having a defense set, as always, helps you avoid the debuffs and avoid letting them buff themselves. Right? You know, we're going to come back to this. Because I don't want to use Strength of Will, and it's going to be 4 minutes before we can use it again. So let's just take these guys out, and we'll take out Marauder if we can. And then we will, then we'll go back and fight the boss. Oh, this guy's going to get involved now. So yeah, I always remember when this game first came out, everybody, for years, everybody always said, oh, resistance is better because it works on every blow, right? So 75% resistance is better than 75% defense because resistance works on every blow. You get hit 4 times, you take 25% of the damage, right? If it's get hit 4 times by 100 hit point hits, you take 100 hit points. With defense, on average, you'll take 100 hit points. You'll take 100, 0, 0, 0. But if you get unlucky, you might take 400 points, right? You really can't get as unlucky with resistance. Well, that's true for the sheer damage. But when you're talking about things like debuffing and stuff, it is much better to have defense because they can't debuff you if they can't hit you. And that often, especially when you get into higher levels, plays a much bigger role than straight up damage. And you guys have seen it, right? Where I'm getting like pounded by psionics that aren't doing a lot of damage to me but are draining my endurance. And then as a consequence, my character's toggles run out, right? And then I get killed, right? And they didn't do any damage. The resistance helped me survive the damage until all the toggles went down, right? But I got debuffed to the point where I got killed. So, yeah, I've always said, no, I like defense sets better. And now that I've played all the way to the end with a couple of resistance sets and a couple of defense sets, it's definitely my favorite to have defense. It really helps against those debuffs. And especially if you have a defense set and then you have something like Dark that's debuffing their 2-hit. Oh my gosh, that's so useful. Because now it stacks, right? Each punch is like 5% debuff, right? To hit, you land a couple punches, so it's up minus 15 or something to hit, and then you've got 15 or 20 defense, man, they can't touch you. I don't know if we're going to be able to pull these guys. And this is frustrating because if I try to pull them and I fail, I'm going to have to turn on all my toggles and that's going to lock me in place for like 4 seconds. But if I try to pull them and I succeed, after I click the toggles, it's going to waste a couple of minutes. Let's take a chance. I might be able to get him. Yeah, I got him. Okay. Alright, that worked. Okay. Hang on. Flight. There we go. Stupid part, I bound flight to the F key and I never think to use it. I always click on it. Okay, guys. We're ready for Marauder. He is an EB. Strength of Will. Hasten. 3 Lux. That puts our defense to 45%. And we are going to use AoEs on the other guy. And try to just pound him as fast and hard as we can. Let's do some extra damage. Okay, it looks like our defense is holding up. At least for now. I feel like you fight him in another mission. He's always really tough. Maybe it's a different guy I'm thinking of, but he's always really tough. And I could swear I remember face-planting multiple times against this guy with some other characters. Oh, is he... Did he just go into Moment of Glory or something? I think he did. Did this guy just spawn next to me? It's so weird. No, we're still doing 197 damage. Let's do extra damage, hit some more. Got him. Okay, I don't know where this guy came from. Did he just summon him? Alright, now we can go fight the boss. Should be alright here. Because he's just a boss. Okay, strength of will is about to go down. So we're going to need our endurance. We should be alright. Our endurance recovery is low, but that only lasts for like 15 seconds, so we should be alright. And I can stun this guy. You can't really stun elite bosses and AVs, but you can stun bosses. Yeah, I always like a good boss fight. I'll take it. You know, one of the things I was a little disappointed in, the 2 lit RPG books that I've read, man, this guy could take punishment. One of the things I was disappointed in the couple of lit RPG books that I've read so far is nobody's mentioned the boss fight. They've kind of had them, but they haven't called it a boss fight or anything. There's been a little less slang, like gamer slang, than I thought there would be. There was more in the first book I read, which was The Land Founding, than in the second book I read, which was Battle Mage Farmer. Battle Mage Farmer, there's very little gamer slang in it, and very little about the game itself, which I found a little disappointing. I mean, it's fine that it's just like a normal book, but when I'm getting a lit RPG book, I'm purposely getting it to get the gaming stuff. The next one I have to read, but I won't be reading it for probably for several weeks, is Monster. What is it? He Who Fights with Monsters. Big book. It's like 800 pages. So I always love a good beefy book. But one thing I'm doing, I'll mention this here. There's this really cool thing called June on the Range. I mentioned it to my Deadlands group. And this is somebody who really likes Westerns who started this on Book Talk a while ago, or in BookTube. And I can't remember where I heard about it, but the idea is to read at least one Western in the month of June, but preferably spend a good chunk of the month of June reading Westerns. And if you're going to read more than one, read one Zane Grey and one Louis L'Amour. Well, I've got 3 Louis L'Amours I want to read. I've got a Zane Grey, and I've got 2 Elmore Leonard. So I'm like, those are all coming. I also have the last of the 4 Lonesome Dove novels. I'm not sure if I'm going to read that. It's pretty long. But minimally, I've got like 6. Yeah, 6 Westerns I'm going to be reading before I go back to reading Lit RPG. Okay, how long has this episode been? We're at 38 minutes. I think this is a good place to stop. Part 10, we're going to be setting up scanners, and I think there are 12 parts. You can look it up if you want. We'll find out. If there are 12 parts, my guess is we will probably stop in the next. We'll finish this arc in the next episode. We're also almost in the 8th beat, so we got about 2 beats to go. I guess it'd be we'll hit level 47 either in the next episode or the one after this. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you're going to do June on the Range, go ahead and post comments as to what books you're reading. I'm reading The Westerners by Zane Grey. I'm reading the 9th, 10th, I think 8th, 9th, and 10th, or 9th, 10th, and 11th Sackett books, starting with Sackett, and then there's 2 other ones. The next 2 that come after that. War Party, I think, and I can't remember the other one, Mojave Desert or something like that. And so those are the next ones I'm reading, and then I've got a couple of Elmore Leonards, and I don't remember the names of those. So anyway, if you've got some cool Westerns, and you're going to read them for June on the Range, or if you read them for June on the Range and you think they're good, go ahead and post them down here so people can see good books to read. I always love a good book. And big fan of Westerns, so... Also, any weird Westerns, please post those, because there aren't that many of those. And I've read Joe Lansdale and John Lansdale's Hell's Bounty, and I've also read Joe Lansdale's collection of short stories called Dead Man's Walk or something. No. I can't remember what it's called. Dead Man's Walk is Larry Martree. Oh well, I can't remember, but I've read a couple of Lansdale books that are Weird West that are really excellent, very creepy and cool. But there aren't that many. So if you know of any, not the Ned Deadlands novels, I'm not talking about Deadlands, but just Weird West fiction, um, post them. I'll be happy to try them as well. And again, if you have other lit RPGs, we've got the Land Founding, which is the Chaos Seeds. That's been mentioned. I've read that one. We've Battle Mage Farmer. I've read that one. I've got He Who Fights with Monsters Book One. There's like 8 of those now. So if I like it, obviously I'll read more. But there's also the World Tree or something like that that somebody mentioned. I have on my list. The Wandering Inn. Um, and there's a couple of others that have been mentioned. I've got them all on my to read list. But go ahead and look at those. If there are more, go ahead and post those because there's lots of lit RPG out there, and I really don't know which ones are the coolest ones. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been City of Heroes.